Hi, I'm Christy and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. And in today's video, I have a series review for the Calamity Montana series by Devney Perry, writing as Willa Nash. So in October, the Brawl just came out in this series. This is the 5th book in the series and the most recent. So I had actually binged the entire series back to back in preparation to get to this book coming out. And I'm so glad I did because I loved the entire journey of the series. So Devney Perry always writes small town romances, and the Calamity Montana series is no different. This was the last series of hers that I had to read, and I'm so glad I got to it because I had a really great time with the entire series. This series is actually not complete yet. There are 5 books out, plus a novella as well, part of the series, but book 6 actually doesn't come out until August of 2023, which that one's going to be called The Brood, and I can't wait to get to it. It actually comes out on my birthday, August 10th, so I'm excited for that. But in the meantime, I wanted to get out this entire series review for the first 5, plus the novella book in the series. So without further ado, we'll jump into my reviews for the books. The first up is The Bribe, and this is the first book in the Calamity Montana series. So this is a small town series, and in this, the heroine is a country singer who has come to Calamity to kind of hide out and escape from her career and popularity, and then the hero is the local sheriff. So this one, the hero and the heroine, they actually first meet when they're out on a hike. The heroine is like staring down a bison when the story starts, and the hero finds her on one of his favorite trails. So when they exchange names, she actually gives him a fake one because she is trying to hide out from like her career. But then they end up meeting again later in town when she is like hurrying and speeding and trying to get to an appointment. And the hero pulls her over and, checks her ID and realizes like, hey, this is not the name you gave me. Like, what's going on? So she decides to offer up a bribe and asks if he'd take a bribe to kind of keep her identity a secret. This was a great start to the series. I loved seeing all the characters and seeing the town and just the whole setup. The hero and the heroine's relationship definitely came together a little quickly, which I kind of didn't mind because I thought they were really sweet and cute together. And I really liked seeing the little side characters as well. He has a really great relationship with his ex-girlfriend's son, who's not his son biologically, but he has a great relationship with him, which I love to see. We even have a little bit of a stalker and like some suspenseful things happening at the end of the story. So yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. Next, I read The Booty, which this is like book 1.5, I believe. It's a novella, part of the Calamity Montana series. You can get this when you actually sign up for the author's newsletter. So this was a fun, just super short little novella that takes place on Valentine's Day, and is a one-night stand turned to hate to love romance between 2 lawyers. So in this one, the heroine lives in Portland, and she has actually come to Calamity to kind of help out her best friend who is trying to go through a divorce from her husband. So to get their minds off things, the ladies end up going to this like annual festival where there is a Wrangler butt competition being put on for charity. So that is when the heroine first recognizes the hero, or she recognizes his Wrangler covered booty. They end up hitting it off and they take off for like a one-night stand together. And then the next day, when she is at the mediation for her friend's divorce hearing, is when she realizes that the hero is the lawyer for her friend's husband, so like on the opposite side of the table from her. This one was just quick and fun. Loved the whole like hate to love banter between these two. Loved that they were both lawyers. And then they actually end up deciding to team up together and try to get their friends back together because they're definitely meant to be. So yeah, this was a fun one, just super short little novella. 3 stars for this one. Then I read The Bluff, which is the 2nd book in the series, and I gave this one 4 stars. This one is a one-night stand that turns into a marriage of convenience. So in this one, the heroine followed her best friend, which is the heroine of book 1. They were both like country singers. She followed her to Calamity when her friend moved here. She's just kind of feeling a bit aimless, doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life, and so she ends up actually having a one-night stand with the hero, and he's a local artist. He owns like a whole art gallery as well. After their one-night stand ends up going so well, they actually end up going into this whole like friends with benefits situation. But the hero definitely, besides his art, like all he's focused on is gaining custody of his 16-year-old daughter that he shares with his ex. So there's definitely some complications with that just because of the history that he has with his ex. She didn't even tell him like she was pregnant or that the baby was born back in the day until, a couple years in. The hero was actually an ex-con as well, so he has a record. And so there's definitely a lot that he is fighting against to gain custody of his daughter. So one day when the heroine and him, just shared a night together and she's at his house, his lawyer is having a conversation with him and mentions like jokingly, like, if you were married or something, like this would really help out your situation for the custody battle. So the heroine overhears and was like, well, I'll marry you. Like, let's just do that. I'll help you out. Ends up becoming their marriage of convenience situation while they're still enjoying the whole like friends with benefits thing. I really enjoyed this one. I loved seeing them get to know each other after they've gotten married. I loved his relationship with his daughter, and I just loved the heroine in this and how much she wanted to help the hero and help his daughter out. The hero did kind of drive me crazy at one point just because of some things that, he hears or whatever, and then he believes, and it's like, dude, the heroine is like, got your back this whole time, could you not? But otherwise, really enjoyed this one and gave it 4 stars. So book 3 is The Brazen, and I gave this one 4 stars. So in this one, the heroine is a busy landlady, and she owns like multiple properties, multiple houses around town that she like fixes up and rents out, as well as she tries to sell some properties as well. So to do all of these things that she's been doing, she took out a loan from a mentor, and then she, at the beginning of the story, finds out that her mentor has passed away, and all of her debts ends up passing on to her mentor's grandson, which is the hero of the story. So the hero shows up in Calamity to kind of collect on the debt that the heroine owes his grandfather / him now, since he took over all of his portfolios. And they definitely butt heads right from the start. The hero actually assumes that the heroine was like a mistress of his grandfather, so he definitely is kind of like standoffish towards her, but he's also really taken with her at the same time, and he like hates the fact that he, you know, wants to be around her more. I really love seeing these two open up to one another over time. This one does have a time jump in it. There's just definitely a lot of growth in this one for both of the characters. We get a snowed in, you know, them stuck together after a storm, so this one was a lot of fun. Gave it 4 stars. Then I read The Bully, and this is book 4 in the Calamity Montana series, and I gave this one 3 stars. This one was actually my least favorite of the series. This one, the hero is retiring from the NFL, and he decides to move to Calamity to be closer to his friend, who was the hero of a previous book. And then the heroine lives in Calamity as well because she works for the hero's best friend in Calamity. So the hero and the heroine actually went to high school together, and they definitely didn't get along back then. It was kind of one of those like bully situations / they secretly had feelings for each other all along. I just really didn't care for the hero or the heroine in this one. We do get some flashbacks with the hero reading some of the heroine's diary entries from back in the day. Like, it was just okay. It was fine. 3 stars. Next up, I read The Brawl, which this is the newest and latest book from Devney Perry in her Calamity Montana series. This one just came out this month. This is book 5 in the series, and I gave it 5 stars. It is definitely my favorite in the series so far. And this one, the hero is a lawyer, and he has just moved from California to Calamity when the story starts. And one day when he's like setting up his office and things like that, he sees a really beautiful woman walk by his window, and he runs outside to go and meet her. And so they have like a really fun little meet cute moment, and she ends up turning him down because she is a single mom. She is a busy school teacher. Like, she just doesn't have time for his games. But of course, since it is a small town, they end up running into one another a lot. He asks her out again. She turns him down again. He ends up meeting her at dinner one of the nights accidentally, like they're at the same place. He introduces himself to her daughter, who she's like, I think like 18 months old. And then they actually end up becoming neighbors as well, because it is just that much of a small town. I loved how the hero is determined to win the heroine and kind of, you know, convince her that he wants her. But things get a little complicated when the hero actually ends up getting a new client, and it is a teenager from the high school who wants to sue the heroine, their teacher, as like for ruining their life. But the romance and chemistry in this one between the hero and the heroine just felt very natural and easy, and I loved it. I loved their connection. I loved how easy his relationship was with the heroine's daughter as well. He nicknames her Firefly, which was so cute. I just really liked the story. Got wrapped up in all the characters, you know, didn't see some things coming towards the end. Like, it was just a great read and a great time, and I gave it 5 stars. All right, so that was my series review for the Calamity Montana series. Let me know in the comments if you've read this series, or if you plan to, or if you've picked up any of the books in it. I had a really great time with this series, and I think it is a fun one to check out if you love small town romances. And as always, if you want more of my thoughts and full reviews for these books, my Goodreads is always linked in the description of my videos, so you can check out my reviews there. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you in my next one.